Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes the Oscars. This is episode 91, and this is the first movie of the 1939 Oscars. This was the 12th Oscar ceremony. They still called the award Outstanding Production at that time, and the awards were presented on February 29th, 1940. So this is in a way a milestone in a few ways, actually. One, it's the last year of the 1930s. So this will be, when I finish these, it'll be the first full decade of Oscars that I've watched. Started in 1927, 28. And the other sort of milestone is that so when I started this whole project, I hadn't seen a lot of the older movies pre my birth, 1975. Up until up through 1974, I'd only seen 18 movies prior to starting this, from the 1927 Oscars to 1974. Even if you throw in 1975, there's only three more movies, so 21 movies. So the milestone that I'm talking about here is that this 1939 was the first year since the Oscars started where there's actually a movie that I've already seen. And that movie is The Wizard of Oz, which is kind of an obvious one. Most everybody's seen it. But from this point going forward, not every single year for sure, but there's going to be some where it's not my first time viewing it. It may be my first time in a very long time. Like Casablanca, I've seen, but I saw it almost 30 years ago was the first and only time I ever watched it. And it's good, but I just never watched it again. So anyway, I've been sort of waiting to get to this point because now it's a thing where I've actually seen some of these. So it'll be, interesting to me anyway, to now watch these movies that I've already seen before and then compare them to the other nominees from that year. So the movie this time was Wuthering Heights. I watched it today, June 14th, 2025. And this was available on Peacock. So it was no cost to me other than, the Peacock subscription. But so far, first movie, $0. Like it. So I will read a little bit of the Wikipedia, and then I will give you my thoughts. Wuthering Heights is a 1939 American romantic period drama film directed by William Wyler, produced by Samuel Goldwyn, starring Merle Oberon, Laurence Olivier, and David Niven, and based on the 1847 novel Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Film depicts only 16 of the novel's 34 chapters, eliminating the second generation of characters. The novel is adapted for the screen by Charles MacArthur, Ben Hecht, and John Huston, who is uncredited. The supporting cast features Flora Robeson and Geraldine Fitzgerald. So this is the first movie that I've ever watched with Laurence Olivier. And David Niven, when I was looking it up, he had a few like smaller parts in some of the Oscar movies I've watched up till now. But this was the first one where he was like a leading role. The outdoor scenes were filmed in Thousand Oaks, California, with scenes shot in Wildwood Regional Park and at the current site of California Lutheran University. Film won the 1939 New York Film Critics Award for Best Film and earned nominations for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor. The 1940 Academy Award for Best Cinematography, Black and White category, was awarded to Greg Toland for his work. Nominated for Original Score, but losing to The Wizard of Oz, was the prolific film composer Alfred Newman, whose poignant Kathy's theme does much to maintain its life as a masterpiece of romantic filmmaking. In 2007, Wuthering Heights was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. As I said, cinematography by Greg Toland, edited by Daniel Mandel, music by Alfred Newman, Production company Samuel Goldwyn Productions, distributed by United Artists, released March 24th, 1939 in Hollywood and April 13th, 1939 in the rest of the US at the runtime of 103 minutes. So yeah, just in case I missed one, outstanding production, best director, best actor, best supporting actress, best screenplay, best art direction, best cinematography, black and white, which it won. It's the only thing it won. Well, aside from outstanding. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on a new year of Oscars. It won best cinematography, black and white, and best original score. So it won one of its 8 nominations. For a second there, I was thinking I was watching the last film of 1938 and didn't know why it wasn't the winner. But no, it's the first film of 1939. I forgot to bring my notebook with me. It's still the taking notes thing is still fairly new to me. So until about maybe a third of the way through. So some things I had written down was it was the first Laurence Olivier joint that I've watched. And then I actually said during the movie, what the fuck? Because the character of Kathy was sick. She had gone out into the rain looking for Heathcliff. I'm not going to go over the whole story of Wuthering Heights, but she goes out to look for Heathcliff, who she's in love with, and he had run away, and it's pouring rain, and she like sort of passes out looking for him, and she's brought back inside by the David Niven character, and they sort of nurse her back to health and everything. And when she's sitting at her house at Wuthering Heights, sort of infirm, she's in a chair, and the doctor's there, and he's like, "I'll make sure to give her plenty." I can't remember the concoction he said, but it was like, "Make sure to give her plenty of sugar, or sugar mixed in something." And then as he was leaving, he was like, "Oh, and plenty of butter and cream." And I just said, "What the fuck?" And I tried to look up what that was, and it like the stupid AI that comes up on Google was not understanding what I was trying to look for. But it was like, no diagnosis was given of Kathy's condition. I'm like, no, but it did. They literally said it. So anyway, I guess that was the thing back then: sugar, butter, and cream to fix everything. So what I wrote is that excellent performances. So very good, one excellent cinematography, excellent direction, excellent set design, good writing, good acting. And I was thinking about this afterwards that I feel like I'm edging into the era of where acting was a little more subtle for movies. When movies first started, or even when the Oscars first started, a lot of people were still coming from theater, where back then, they probably had to, didn't have like crazy sound systems in theaters. So people had to enunciate and overact a little bit to, get the acting across. And that didn't always translate for me in film. But as I've seen this progression, it sort of is getting better and better where the acting is a little more subtle. And there's not that there isn't still, the last movie I watched was Bringing Up Baby. There's a ton of overacting, but it's slapsticky and funny. So it's a little different. So in this, the performances were excellent. Actors, great. Olivier, great. The lead actors, great. So I wrote excellent performances. I said, it's also a shitty movie filled with shitty people. There's only 3 good people in this movie. There's Kathy's father at the beginning, who takes Heathcliff in and lets him live with them. There's Ellen, who I thought was their mother, but I guess she was just like a caretaker, who was narrating the story. And, she was with them their whole lives. When the father died, she stayed with them and everything. And then there's the character of Isabel that later falls in love with Heathcliff, but he only cares about Kathy. Heathcliff, Kathy, the David Niven character, I can't remember his name at the moment, Edgar, and Kathy's brother Hindley, all just assholes. Like Heathcliff, all he cared about was revenge the whole movie. And I understand it. I get where it's coming from. But none of these people were good people. They're not good people. It's a good movie. I liked it a lot. I think I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. But I did not like any of the characters. And at first, I did like them. But then as they progressed, I hated them more and more. By the end, I couldn't wait for them to stop talking. So, and again, it wasn't that I wanted the movie to end because I didn't like it. I just didn't like the character. It was a strange mix where I did think it was a very good movie, but the story, I guess it's the story of these people is shitty. And that's fine. I don't need every movie to be, like super happy and, the Spielberg ending for everything, but uh yeah, bad people doing bad things, being shitty to each other. Guess I'm gonna have to put the explicit tag on this one. But anyway, I did like it. Like I said, I gave it 3.5 stars. Let me just double check. 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars. So yeah, it's fine. It's a fine start. We'll see how it goes with the rest of these movies. But we're kicking off 1939, last year of the 30s for Oscars. So we're getting there. I mean, we're not. We're really not. But my goal this year is to get through, hopefully, up through 1943 because that's when they stopped doing the 10 movies a year. And so I got 49 movies, and then it goes to the 5 movies a year for quite a few years. So that's what I'm trying to get to. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. See you next time.